Hey there, this is the fifth video in a series of videos which is designed to help you get more out of ERPAnalytics. ERPAnalytics is the plugin that has been created by Fusion 5 to allow you to get some actionable insights from what your users are doing in JD Edwards OneWorld and allow you to fine-tune that experience to potentially get more out of your end users and provide them a better experience. This video is going to be about customization and how you can use our standard customizations, which is custom reports, dashboards, some saved reports, and how to use custom alerts. All of these are going to be covered off in this video. First of all, I want to show you custom reports. This is where we will share with you a series of standardized reports that run over the top of your ERPAnalytics data. Once again, it's really important for you to choose the JD Edwards application analysis view because some of our custom reports are using dimensions that are only defined and applied in that particular view. When you change the attributes of a view, that is not retrospective. So you can create custom segments and that will create retrospective analysis of the data, but views are not retrospective. One of the custom reports that I like to use the most is productivity analysis. If you don't have any, so when you navigate to customization, custom reports, if you don't have any reports here, please reach out to us and I can share with you some of our great standard reports which give you some really cool insights. These reports have all been written based upon customer requirements. So customers have rang me up and said, Shannon, hey, I need some help. We've just done this. I want to know that. And I've created reports in 5 minutes specifically addressing their queries. And what you'll see here is this first report. It's probably reporting over a little bit too much data, so from August the 1st to December the 2nd. Interestingly, we can see that this client has gone through an upgrade in that amount of time because we can see that production is the biggest use environment. The PD 920 is the biggest environment that's been used. But we can see JPD 900, so they've upgraded from 9 to 9.2 in the amount of time that's specified here across this graph. So what I'm going to do is reduce this amount of time. Let's say I only want to look at the last 2 weeks because 3.2 million page loads is a little bit excessive for me. And now if I look through the last 2 weeks of data, that's much better. So I can see PY, it's been 4,500 pages have been logged in PY. It's a little bit slower than production, but we generally expect that. We've got a BS environment, we've got a TR environment, and then DV environment, and we can see what's been going on there. Now remember that I have defined all of these reports and all of these drill downs. So if I want to look at what people are doing in PY, I can click on PY and I can see the usernames and how many page loads these particular users have been doing. If I want to see all of those pages, I can choose all 30 and I can scroll down to the bottom of that list and see exactly what's been going on. But then, then I've defined to see document content load time, and if you want to know what any of these things are, you just hover over the top and it gives you help on exactly what all of these metrics are. I find the really important ones are the server response time, and that's how long the server took to respond to the action, to formulate the HTML request going back to the user, and then the content loaded time. So that's loading the document. It's received the document over the network and how long it takes to render on the client. Then you can scroll across a number of these various tabs which grabs different information. So this particular one still has our users, but in this last 2-week period, how many hours and minutes have they been looking at JD Edwards screens? And we can see 14 hours, 18 hours. So we can actually measure engagement and the average time of each of these users have spent on those pages. That's really interesting from a user perspective, but what if we move over to an application perspective? Now we're able to see for an application version and form where all of the action has been happening. And this is just for the PY environment. What if I wanted to look at production? So I quickly just choose the production environment. And then I'm able to see what applications are being used in production. And by far the most popular application, we can see that here. A page title might be handy, so we'll just choose page title. And then we can see per application how long the page is to download, how long it's taken to render on the browser, how long it's to totally load in the browser, and the server response time for each of these pages. And so we can see that sometimes the server is taking quite a bit longer. So for the printer selection, the server is taking nearly half a second to respond to a pretty basic piece of functionality. And that, if we look on average, that is quite a difference to many of these other pages. What you learn as you look through your ERP analytics data more and more is when auto-find is ticked on for certain forms, in general, the loading of those forms is going to take a little bit longer. And what you could do, this is a bit of extra for experts, is you could add a segment with a list of all those forms that do auto-finds, and that would allow you to make a distinction or a dichotomy between database-intensive operations with auto-find clicked on, and then your basic navigation, find, browse, loading of forms, web server response times, so that when things get sticky or you're looking for a particular performance problem, those sorts of data points can really benefit you in determining where that problem is. I've also defined a couple of various other reports here that look at hour of day, and then we can tell when lunch is for these people, and we can tell what is the busiest hours. This is also really great for performance testing. So if we looked at, say, 11 o'clock is pretty much the busiest time, which is an average. But we can say, let's look at the last month and see what is the busiest hour in the last month. And we can see that it's actually 2 o'clock in the afternoon is the peak time for this client, so we certainly wouldn't want to cause any problems there. It's responsible for 12.5% of the entire load, and we can see in that hour it's actually accumulating 3,088 hours of engagement. So in that 1 hour in the last 2 months, we've cumulatively got 3,088 or 6,166 eyes looking at JD Edwards, and it's an amazing thing. And if we could improve that experience for these people, it could make a significant difference to their day, month, year. We've also got hour breakdown by user. Once again, you can edit and define all of these. So if I choose edit at the top here, I can choose the drill down. This particular drill down is date, hour, minute. When we're looking at sessions, if we look at our user, we've got environment, our user, app ID. So we can define how we drill down into the various information, okay? And then another really nice thing about the analytics suite is that any filtering you do, so if I choose the production environment, and then I might choose a particular application in this instance, so I might only want to choose P15222, well, let's look at when that is used. So I can scroll across to the hour of the day, and we can still see here that I'm using the filter of production and that application. And so then we can see during the day since October the 1st that once again, surprise, surprise, 2 o'clock, that is the most popular time for this particular application, and it's been loaded 10,000 times and is responsible for 322 hours of engagement at 2 o'clock over the last 2 months. Maybe that's something that we want to improve, or maybe we want to look at how fast that application is. Once again, we can scroll back to applications, we can look at cumulative performance, and we can see, and this is day of the week, I could make that anything, but we can see cumulatively how many seconds of download that's taken, how many loaded time, etc. So we can see cumulatively, or we can look at averages and say per page load on these days of the week, which is again what I've defined. We can see that it's taken 0.88 of a second to load on the 4th day of the week, and we can see it's taken 0.90 on the 5th, etc., etc. So we've got this amazing ability to apply filters and look at our data holistically, or look at our data for particular applications. If we like the look of any of these reports, what we can actually do is save that report, productivity analysis demo. And so then what we've got is wherever we drill down to in this throughout that custom report, it's going to apply the same filtering and the same date ranges, etc., for us to go directly to that particular report. So that's a really nice way of just drilling down to that exact report. Another nice thing I like to do is if I looked at the performance, and we looked at the performance from the 1st of December, so we've looked at that for the last 2 months, and we can see that the average page lookup, or the average page load time is 0.94. So let's say I wanted an alert if the page load time for a day was greater than 1 second. I can go across to custom alerts, and we can see there's a bunch of alerts here, and I'm going to create a custom alert. And I'm going to say new alert, and on a daily basis, page 2 slow demo, and on a daily basis, and we've got day, week, month. This is not like this is not interactive performance. This is not going to alert if a single user's page is slow. It's going to tell us if on a daily average things are so. So it's going to apply to all traffic, and I'm going to say page load. So if the average page load time is greater than 1 second, I want to get an alert. And as easily as that, I'm going to get an email from Google Analytics if the JD AdWords page load times are slower. Now that's great if any changes are going on in our network. If we do anything, we've got this proactively sending us emails if the performance is not up to scratch for our users. We can do that for particular applications. We can do that for number of sessions per day. If not enough people have logged in, we can put any sorts of alerts in. So hopefully that's given you a good summary of customized reports, alerts, and dashboards, the things that we can do under customization for ERP Analytics.